Firstly, huge thank you to everybody for coming along today. It's an amazing feeling to stand at the front here and see so many of you sat here in person with us. This is by far the biggest NF Core hackathon we've ever had. I said the same thing last year, and this year we're twice the number of people, so it's amazing. I'm really happy to see you there. And also thank you to everyone who's joining online and watching this on YouTube or in Galatown. It's a great experience to have so many of you here, so thank you first for joining. I've just got a few slides here just to kind of talk through a little bit about how the hackathon is going to work, roughly how we're going to organize ourselves, some logistics, nothing big, and then we can really get stuck into it. Just out of curiosity, as we have lots of you sat in a room in person for once, hands up if this is the first time you've come to an NF Core hackathon. Yeah, so as is usually the case, there's lots of new people here, so don't feel shy. Many of us are in the same boat, and yeah, welcome. Great to have you as part of our community. Okay, so some numbers to start off with. I always like to start with some numbers. 375 people in total registered for this hackathon. We've got about 97 people in this room. Well, some people are late, so not quite 97 yet, but at some point we'll have 97. And 278 people joining us remotely. Fantastic, fantastic numbers. There's a schedule posted over there, which I guess some people have seen. This is also on the website. All of these times are Central European time if you're joining in a different time zone. But this is kind of roughly how the next 3 days of the hackathon are going to look. We've got the green bits are kind of where someone's going to stand at the front and talk, so welcome talks, and then we've got basically summaries at the end of each day, just trying to recap a little bit of what we've done. It's going to be difficult because we're going to do a lot of stuff, so we're going to have to try and not get those talks super long. But in grey, we've got lunch and some coffee breaks. The coffee breaks we're going to have a few snacks and stuff. It's mostly just to make sure everyone stands up and walks around. And other than that, we've got a few extra things sprinkled in, but this is the rough kind of schedule of how it looks. Remember that this is right now being streamed live on YouTube, and also those live stream videos are staying up on the web. So if you're joining at a later time zone or you're late or whatever, it doesn't matter, you can go back and watch this at any time. And if in doubt, go to the NF Core website, which is the event page for the hackathon is linked under here, and that has all of the details. And if you haven't looked at it for a few days, it's worth checking again, because we've added a lot more there just over the weekend. So check that out. Right, a quick few logistics. Power. The number one most important thing for any hackathon. If you need to plug your laptop in, look underneath the table. Every single table has some power strips under there, so there should be plenty of plug sockets available. If you run out, let us know, we can sort out some more. Fire exit. We've got the obvious fire exit there if necessary, and the fire exit there. Please try and assemble, if a fire alarm goes off, try and assemble around the front entrance of the hotel, and please don't go back to your hotels because we will be going through names and checking everybody off to make sure we've got you all. So just don't go home and we'll be fine. Hopefully nothing will happen, nothing's planned. Wi-Fi, everybody here should have seen little cards on the tables with some Wi-Fi details. Don't be put off by the fact it goes to a Facebook page, you don't need to do that. So that's hopefully already working for you all. There's also a second Wi-Fi network if you have any issues, just come and ask. I think the details are also on a piece of paper over there. So hopefully that's all good. Coffee. Another very important factor. There's a coffee machine at the back, coffee machine just outside. That's running all day long. And then we have the coffee breaks, which is where there'll be extra stacks and stuff. Water and juice over there as well, if you're over-caffeinated. Bathrooms, if you go out the front door here, they're just on your right. They're super obvious, so just stand around there until you see it. Very close by. Photos. Please take lots of photos. If you post anything on social media, we've got a hashtag for the whole week, which is just #NextFlowSummit, so try and remember to stick that on. It's really good especially when Chris gives a talk on Friday to wrap up the hackathon. He can stick all of your wonderful photos in his talk, and it makes it a bit easier to find them. Please remember to ask permission of anyone you're taking photos of. GatherTown, this is obviously for people joining remotely. It's going to be through the GatherTown platform, but it's also for everybody sat in this room, because the hope is we all work together, whether you're here in person or whether you're online. So hopefully many of you, I've seen a bunch of people already walking around in GatherTown over their shoulders, so hopefully that's working well. Try and use your real names when you log in, so people know who you are. It's a bit better than kind of random usernames. And if you have any problems, check that you're trying to log in with the email address that you registered for the summit with, because that's what we're using. And if it's still not working, then go and bother Chris over there, that guy, or ping him on Slack, and we'll make sure that your email address is on the list. For anyone who's not used GatherTown before, it's an online system. It's kind of a bit like playing Pokemon or something, where you've got like a little avatar. You can run around. There will be some fun and games happening in there, and all the online people will be wandering around, and you can kind of wander up to people and chat to them, and all the different groups can meet together in little spaces to kind of collaborate. We have a social event just for the hackathon, which is going to be tomorrow. It's a place called La Patente, probably saying it wrong. And as is traditional for NF Core events, we will be doing some cooking. So I hope everyone saves their appetites for tomorrow. I don't know if it was obvious when you saw the schedule, but we finish here at about 6:30, and this event starts at 7, so it's pretty tight. We are starting at 7. The doors open there, and we go in and we'll start straight away. So really try not to be late, because it's quite an organized event. So we'll be splitting into groups and all this kind of stuff. There will be a Nextflow flag on the street outside, so look for that. And yeah, ping us on Slack if you get lost or whatever. We haven't organized any group travel to get there, but I imagine everyone will sort of be heading over roughly together. It's a short trip on the underground, so it's pretty easy to get to. They're prompt with starting, and they've also told us that they will be prompt at kicking us out. So it finishes at 10 o'clock, and then we're all going to get booted onto the street. If you look on the NF Core website, we've put a few names of places which are nearby where we can all kind of congregate in afterwards if anyone would like to stay on any later. Okay, groups. NF Core hackathons have traditionally been maybe slightly sort of more relaxed in how we organize ourselves compared to other hackathons you may have been to. We sort of know that people often come with their own ideas of what they would like to work on, and so we have groups mostly to kind of congregate around common themes, and if you're not sure what to work on, there's plenty of stuff to get started on. This year we have dropped one of the teams we've had before, which was called documentation, because we want everyone to be doing documentation. Also that was traditionally like the beginners group, but again, we want anyone who considers themselves to be a beginner, we want you to mix in with everyone else who's not a beginner. So we've kind of shifted things a little bit this year. Also at the bottom we've got a new group there which is for Nextflow development. So this is kind of not necessarily NF Core stuff, but working on Nextflow plugins or the main Nextflow tool itself. And we've got Ben and Jordi who are joining from Sekiro, who are kind of main developers for Nextflow along with Paolo, and they'll be here to join him. To get around the beginners thing, we have two kind of meta groups. We've got a group called Beginners, and basically this will be like Fran and Marcel over here. If you're feeling a bit lost and you don't really know how to start, you're not familiar with GitHub, you don't really know how this kind of works, then go and find them and they will get you started. The beginners table is only going to be around today. So go and grab them, and just if you're feeling a bit lost and you need to get started. And there's also kind of a meta group for people working online. UK is joining us from Singapore online, and so again, if you're feeling a bit lost, you can find her, and she will sort of rally everyone and tell you where to find people and what's going on. As is always the case, all the activities are also going to be happening on Slack. So if you haven't already joined up to the NF Core Slack, head to this link to get an invite. Note there are two different Slacks. There's a Nextflow Slack and there's the NF Core Slack. You're going to need to be in the Nextflow Slack for the summit at the end of the week, and you're going to need to be in the NF Core Slack for these 3 days. So you need to be in both. So make sure that's the case. And once you've joined Slack, that's a later on slide, there's a bunch of channels specific for the event. Okay, workflow. How does this work? First up, kind of identify roughly what you'd like to work on, find a bunch of people in the same group doing similar things and go and talk to them. So the most important part of a hackathon is not really hacking, it's socializing. So find some people working on similar things and get chatting. Find a task on the project board. So on GitHub, on the NF Core organization, we've set up a hackathon project board. And over the last month or so, all the group leaders have been, and many other people, have been tagging issues, GitHub issues, as hackathon issues and organizing them very neatly for you. So if you're working with pipelines or with infrastructure, you can go to the project board for that project and you'll find a big, long list of issues, of things that need to be done. So especially relevant if you don't already have your own kind of personal to-do list, this is where you go to find jobs to do. You then find an issue you want to work on, and it's really important that you assign yourself to that issue. This puts your face next to that issue, and it stops anyone else from grabbing the same issue. Because what we don't want to happen is you spend all morning doing something, put in a pull request, only to find out someone else put in a pull request 10 minutes ago, and you're too late. So assign yourself straight away, and then that way we make sure we don't duplicate any efforts. Then you do your work, you write your code, you put in a pull request, and hopefully it gets merged, and we move on to the next one. This is wrong. No, Google Slides, this is right. We've used HackMD in the past. This year we're using Google Slides just because HackMD was, people's stuff always dropped off the bottom of the slide. So we have a Google Slide deck, which will be shared in Slack. Make a note of what you've done, because we use this Google Slide deck at the wrap-up talks at the end of every day just to highlight, celebrate what you've done, and shout about it in the Slack. Get some emoji love. And sort of move on to the next thing. Now, I was going to quickly show what this might be ambitious because I forgot to prepare it, show what the project board looks like, just so that you can see. This is not a Swedish keyboard. So if you go to github/nfcore, and you go to projects, and you go to Hackathon October 2023, now you can see different tabs along the top. The group overview is very busy. That shows everything. But there is a tab for each specific group. So if I go and click on pipelines, you can see that there are a bunch of issues here, and even there's then kind of subgroups within each project where you can go and click in, and you can see which repo, and you can see the assignee. So this one has already been assigned, so leave that one alone. Add yourself to the ones you're going to work on, and then you can maintain the status and add in the hackathon day and everything. And there's one of these for each group. There's some more detail which I guess Maxime is going to talk about with NF testing, so we'll go on to that later. Right, how do I get back? Keynote. There we go. Slack. In Slack, I said that there's a Slack channel for the hackathon, Hackathon Oct 2023. Jump in there, chat about anything and everything. You'll be getting, hopefully, I think we've tried to add everyone into this group, so hopefully you're already in the channel. If you're not, please join it. We'll be putting out anything that's important about the event, like, the wrap-up is happening soon, whatever. So make sure you're in there and kind of listening. And then we've got sub-channels for all the different groups. So this is just, otherwise it gets too noisy. So when you join a group to work on something, make sure you join that Slack channel, again, to sort of help communication within each of those. There's two kind of extra ones at the bottom. We were going to call it beginners, but we thought, actually, no, let's not call it beginners. We're going to call it Help, I Am Lost. So if you feel a bit lost, join the channel called Help, I Am Lost. And there are people such as Fan and Marcel and UK and others hanging around in that channel who will be able to help you out and point you where to go and show you how to use GitHub and everything. There's also a channel called Scavenger Hunt, which is to do with one of our kind of fun tasks, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. We have a code of conduct for NF Core, which applies to events. So it's all pretty common sense stuff. But bear in mind that by being here, you've kind of implicitly agreed to abide by the code of conduct and just be nice. don't do anything horrible. Don't troll. Remember to take breaks. Maxime's usually our person who goes around telling everyone to stand up and have a walk around and have a snack. So remember to take a break and ask before, take screenshots of GatherTown or photos. If you are relatively new to the community and to Nextflow and NF Core, there's a ton of resources we have online for you to use to get up to speed. We have the NF Core bite-size set of talks, which are weekly talks we have on Tuesdays. This screenshot is very out of date because it only shows up to 7. What are we at now? Like 40? More than that? We stopped counting, yeah. there are a lot of talks there. Talks about pipelines. It talks about, I don't know, how to package something on Bioconda, how to use GitHub to make a pull request. If you've never done a pull request before, there's a bite-sized talk about it. If you're not sure about how to use GatherTown, there's a bite-sized talk about it. Really good to go and have a look through that list. And we also have, basically all of those are on YouTube and should be linked in there. We also have an NF Core YouTube channel with tons of stuff. There's a training.nextflow.io website, which has kind of been revamped this year, so that's got our main community training courses on. So if you're feeling totally lost and you just actually need to get up to speed with Nextflow, go and check out some of our training courses there. Again, they're all on YouTube as well. And of course, the NF Core website. New this year, we're going to hear more about this later in the week. We have community.secura.io. I'm not going to talk too much about it now because I'm going to cover it more in the talk on Wednesday. But this is a new initiative we're pushing out, and I would love to see some activity on it this year. So go and check it out. It's publicly visible, so you can poke around without logging in, but you can also just register and log in and post questions, whatever you like. The structure is pretty loose at this point, but it's kind of largely mirrors Slack. So I would love, also if you have any feedback or suggestions about things you would like it to do or changes, then we are all ears. This is a brand new, hot off the press thing that went live last week, I think. Social. Right, anyone who has been to an NF Core hackathon before knows that it's sort of tradition for us to run a bingo. This year is no exception. So if you go to the NF Core event webpage, there is a bingo, and you can check out and tick everything off as they happen, like when GitHub inevitably goes down. I don't know what other ones there are this year. We've cleaned up the list quite a lot. So yeah, and shout in the Slack channel as soon as you get bingo. There's the scavenger hunt Slack channel, where Fran has scheduled a whole load of messages to go out with different challenges throughout the course of the hackathon, where you need to grab photos of whatever she's asked for and post them in that channel. The more photos, the better. Just go for it. We will be arbitrarily awarding which ones we think are best at the end. But yeah, just have some fun there. If you're in GatherTown, or everyone who's in GatherTown, of course, you can find the socks, which should be hidden in very obscure places throughout GatherTown. If you can find a sock emoji, take a screenshot. And I don't know how many there are this year. 7? There are 7 socks to find. When you've got screenshots of all 7 socks, tell us very quickly in Slack. And if you're the first person, you win. And then I think once someone has found all 7 socks, more socks will be hidden. So find the socks. But don't spend all your time searching for socks, please. It can get addictive. And then finally, tomorrow after lunch, 2 p.m. tomorrow, Matthias has organized a quiz for us again on Kahoot. So it's like a multiple choice thing. You use your phone to tap the answer. And I think it's going to be a competitive one this year. So. Now, this year we've gone the extra mile. It's really worth it now. We have some prizes. Chris has been hard at work in the community team building numerous stickers. Now these are gold. I don't know if it comes across. These are like gold holographic. They're like, you know. So you want to win. So it's worth it. Right. So wrapping up. Huge thank you to everyone who has supported us for this event. Secura, of course, has put a lot of time, money into helping us with this. So big thanks to them. AWS are our sponsors for the hackathon, so thank you to AWS. I think at some point they will stand up and say hi. I haven't seen any of them arrive yet. But when they do, look out for them, and they'll be kind of wandering around and being helpful. AWS help us out with a lot of stuff with NF Core generally as well, so big thanks to them, and especially for sponsoring the hackathon. And also thank you to Chan Zuckerberg Initiative, who have been funding us through their essential open source software for science grants over the past few years. With that, I'm going to finish with a bit of fun. I couldn't resist it. So there's a Slack channel called AI Cafe, and Rob Simon posted a photo with a link to a tool where you can generate these images, and I couldn't resist. So as a little wrap-up, just remember to stop and have some coffee, chat to people, enjoy the hackathon, squint a bit at the picture and see if you can see anything special about it. Maybe take a break, go down to the beach sometime, have some apples. Does anyone see this? Or is anyone just like, I've got a sea of blank faces. The smaller the picture, the easier it is to see. Yeah, have a chill out on the beach. Don't look too closely. This picture is actually quite disturbing. Yeah, it's like I can see it on that screen from over here at an angle. Maybe check out some Spanish art galleries, maybe go and see the sights in Barcelona. Of course, we've got the social. We're going to do some cooking. Might have some drinks afterwards. And then on Wednesday, we'll join together for the summit and hopefully enjoy some wonderful talks. If you still have absolutely no idea what I'm talking about here, and hopefully you'll be thinking about NF Core all the time, that's as easy as I can make it. With that, I will wrap up. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. And let's have a brilliant few days. And before you all start hacking too much, there's going to be a couple of other people standing up and talking. But yeah, thank you for joining. All right. Try and stand up.
Yes, I am. Oh, sorry. How do I quit like a keynote? Yes, I never use the Mac, so I'm bad at that. It's here. That's good. Perfect.
Full screen button.
That should be. That's good enough. Thank you. Hello everyone. So welcome to NF Core. So now you're all part of the community. Nice. And I'm here. I'm part of the pipeline like subgroup. But because we are doing like a lot of stuff which involve like all of the other like groups, I thought it was like a good idea like to talk to all of you. So. Welcome again to everyone. Don't forget to drink. That's my stuff. Like that's what I talk all the time. And yes, thank you for being all here. And I want to thank like Adam, Edmund, Arshil, and Satish for helping me like with the pipeline like organization subgroup. So we like on the pipeline we'll be working like on the pipeline, so maintaining, updating, refactoring, adding new features, and that means like interacting with like the infrastructure group, interacting with the module sub workflow group, and interacting with the beginners group, like and the like everyone else. So that's important. And this year we have so yes, have a look at our project board, join the Slack channel like as usual. Like Phil explains that like pretty clearly. So don't hesitate to join and ask if you have any question. As Phil explained, like claim a card. If there is no card for you, create one. And if you have any question, ask us. And this year, the focus will be about like NF test. So if you don't know what NF test is, it's a framework to help us like do some testing. And what is good about like NF test is that it helps us like test everything that we want within Nextflow at any level. So we can test easily a function, a module, sub workflow, which is like a workflow, or even a pipeline. So that's amazing. It's much simpler than PyTest. It's more Nextflowy and groovy, and our plan like is to make it like very modular, which like have self-contained units. So everywhere we have like a main.nf, so which is like our script, like in Nextflow, we have like a test folder, and in that folder we have like the test file, which is the main.nf.test. And we use the same structure for the module, the pipeline, the sub-workflow, and that way we can have like modules that can be ported from the NF Core module repo to your own pipeline repo. That way, if you want to test your module, you don't believe the test in the module repo, you can test them as well in the pipeline repo. That's amazing. I love the test. I think like Edmund, where is Edmund? Yes, Edmund is same as me. He loves testing stuff, so I'm really looking forward to all that. We have a POC. Yes, I don't remember what POC means. Yes, thank you. Proof of concept that is open like for the fetch NDS like pipeline. So you can have a look if you want. And with that, what we did, we decided also to refactor the whole like code base of NF Core, how it is organized. So basically what we did, we split up the conf.module config file. We removed all of the Groovy code that was in lib, and we moved all that to some dedicated sub-workflow. I like this idea very much because it will mean like a faster turnaround with the template, and it's like native Nextflow code. So that will be nice and like easier to update. As I explained before, like each main.nf come with a like test folder, which has like a main.nf like .test script, a main.nf.test snap, and the nextflow.config. And we have like some extra stuff that we can talk like later on. And what is good with NFTest is that it has a snapshot possibility, which like help us to compute like every output that we can get from channel, the MD5 sum and stuff like that. So it makes the testing like so much simpler than it used to be with PyTest. So I know that Endersh is not here. He's been like working with Rike and I like on Sarek, and like I think it was last year before I went on vacation, he asked me, what can I work on? And I said, oh yes, it would be nice if we have like a PyTest for every single possibility. He spent like a week working on that. I'm pretty sure that now with NFTest we could do that in a single day. So that will be like amazing. So I'm really looking forward to that. And this is like, we have all of this explanation about how to make it work. Satish made some amazing videos about that, and Adam had the good idea to put some music on it. So you will see that tomorrow. We have a couple issues on how to make it work, so I will like not talk about that because like it's fine, and I think we can talk about that like if you have like some issue, if you encounter them. I shared this slide like on the Slack for the hackathon, so don't worry too much about that. I'm going quickly. If you have like beginners to NFTest, we recommend like looking at what we already did. So have a look at the NF Core FastQC module. For the maintainers or for people that already use NFTest, we recommend to have a look at the pipeline that we already worked on that. We might need some help from smart people, so I'm thinking like maybe Rob, I'm looking at you. So that would be nice. And yes, Groovy Wizard to help us like do some nice stuff, so I'm looking at you again. And I'm thinking as well at Matthias over there, Julia as well, Edmond as well. Satish also, like to will really like help finalize like all of the GitHub action like CI. Thanks again to all of you. Don't forget to drink water, get coffee, go for a walk, and have fun. Thank you.
Okay, so I will not be too long. I'm leading the modules group with Rike, that it's there. So if you have any questions, you can just tell us. But first, remember to drop your questions if you can in Slack, because it's more convenient, as anyone else having the same question can refer to our answer. Then there is a YouTube video where I introduce the modules and sub-workflows group. You can watch it if you want. And also in the Slack channel, there is I pin the slides so that you can track what you have done during the hackathon. And yes, so you can go to the board and assign yourself any of the issues, or if you have any other issues, or you want to, for instance, implement another module, you can just add it and please track your work for having it in the wrap-up slides. And yes, I think that's all.
Yes, hello, I'm from Matthias, part of the NF Core infrastructure group, and we work on everything which makes these things so smooth and running. So if you know some Python or some JavaScript, you're very much welcome in our group to work either on the command line interface or add stuff to the new website we just launched, or if you want to also write some Groovy or just work a bit with Nextflow plugins, we have the NF validation group also as part of NF Core infrastructure. And if you are here on site and submits a nice PR to infrastructure and it gets merged, we have some special limited edition NF Core infrastructure stickers just for you. It's very sought after, I can already say, because I'm running out of them. More information on the videos and the website and the event. If you want to see more beginner issues and stuff like that, just watch our video, and also to get to know who you should talk to, or if you want to talk about NF Core infrastructure. With that, thank you very much, and have a fun hackathon. Bye.
Hi everyone. I wasn't planning to stand up again, but Ben and Geordie, who are two group leaders for the NF Core development team, Ben is currently stuck in customs and Geordie's train is late, so they'll be here soon hopefully. But just to recap on the Nextflow development group, anything to do with Nextflow itself. By the way, a new stable release of Nextflow went out last night or this morning. So make sure to run Nextflow self-update. So anything to do with core Nextflow itself, also anything to do with developing Nextflow plugins. If you're not familiar with plugins for Nextflow, it's been around about a year or so, but it's sort of starting to grow this ecosystem of plugins. So NF validation is an obvious one. There's a few others. Ernie from Quilt is here. He's going to be working on the NF Quilt plugin. So if anyone is interested in working with storing data in kind of S3 with rich data integration with Quilt, then go and talk to these guys. We've got some exciting stuff lined up. So lots of core Nextflow development, go and check out over there. I think that's everything. So we'll let you get on with it. Thanks everyone, and enjoy.